Hey guys, as you know, the phase 2 for the Season of Discovery is about to start in a few days, and a lot of news have come out and data mining for what is to come and all of that. So I want to see this WillE video that is talking about the news for the new phase of the Season of Discovery, and I wanted to watch it with you guys. I have not watched this, but I kinda know what he's going to talk about because I saw the data mining and all of that. So let's see what he says in here.
News surrounding Phase 2 of Season of Discovery has just dropped, and it is looking like an absolute banger of a patch. We have PvP updates, new raid gear, new profession items, and so much more. Real quick mention to the new runes at the start of the video here. So Blizzard have teased 2 per class, both for the new belt and boot slots, which will further modify how our classes play this season. Moreover,
But in WoW they data mine that we will also get a rune for the wrist piece. So 3 new rune slots in the phase. In first phase we had 3 rune slots, and now we are getting 3 more rune slots, which is cool. And apparently they are focusing more on passive spells. They don't want to give us too many active spells, you know, classic player. We don't want all of those buttons that we have on retail, you know. So they are focusing more on passive stuff.
the runes shown are mostly modifications to vanilla abilities, not just entirely new stuff, which I was super hopeful to see. I want to do a full follow-up video on the future runes and think about how they will work, interact with future talents, as well as synergize with our current runes. I always end up...
I am really excited for the Hunter because they are giving us more melee stuff. I main survival. I am now in this season maining survival Hunter on retail, which is a melee spec for the Hunter. So I want a melee Hunter on classic, and I know that you can play melee Hunter right now in at level 25, but you have kind of to what they call melee weaving. They go back, they throw the shots, and then they go in, and they are going in and out. I don't want to do that. I just want to stay at melee and play as a melee class, but being a Hunter, brother, with my pet, which is fucking cool.
With more to say about runes than I expect, so I'll be releasing that video very soon. Watch out for that. Now let's get on to the news. So let's start with the big one, shall we? GDKPs are being banned in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. If you don't know, the premise of a GDKP is that all items that drop during a run are bid for with gold, and then said gold is split between participating members at the end of the run. This type of loot distribution system started to gain more traction during Classic in 2019, and has for the longest time been a huge topic of discussion and drama. If you know me and the content I make, you know I've never really been on the side of GDKPs, and there's several reasons for that. I don't like treating raiding as a gold farm. I think it diminishes its importance within the game. I don't like how
I do like treating raiding as a gold farm. If I go there to earn gold, to me that is cool. I am earning gold. But I remember that in Classic, in the Blackwing Lair patch, I was really fun. Not fun. I was really geared. I was full beast in that patch in Blackwing Lair, and I didn't need to raid, but I did it in GDKPs to earn gold, which was fucking cool. So I treat it as a service. Like, I am coming in here and I am pumping. I am doing more damage than anyone, and you pay me gold. But I understand the banning of the GDKP because of the gold buying and all of that. In a perfect world, what would I want in a perfect world? There is no bots, there is no gold buying, there is none of that, and we can GDKP with gold that people farm in other GDKPs or in the open world, you know. And that is a sweet economy. You are allowing players to do cool stuff, to treat the raid as a gold farming method if you are not planning to buy anything, because you need to make a GDKP, you need people that just go in there because they want a cut of the gold and they are not planning on buying anything, and you need the buyers too. And that will be awesome. There is no gold buying, there is no bots, there is nothing, and you get the GDKP. But we don't live in a perfect world, and there is no way in fucking hell, even if Blizzard tried, to completely eradicate gold buying and bots and all of that. So they are giving it a try with the no GDKP thing. Let's see how it goes. I I am not mad about it because in this first phase of Season of Discovery, I didn't do a single GDKP, so I won't miss having a GDKP. I don't give a fuck. Take it away. I don't care. And if that improves the economy and I can buy stuff for cheaper and I have to farm less gold, that is awesome for me. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Directly, they can be associated with the impacts of real money trading, and I don't like as how the game goes on, more and more raids gravitate towards this loot system, further
that fight is the moment that classic players have moved their characters the most in all of history, brother. This is the fight where classic players learn to move their characters, because for all of classic history you use a standard like about the spamming a spell, and in this fight they finally make you move your character, brother.
Compounding the problems which they cause. I don't know if you've seen the price of consumables on Classic Era recently. Treat it as a case study for the late stage effects of GDKP, with the best items in raids going for over 6 digits worth of gold, and consumables for a week's worth of raiding will set you back over 1,000 gold. Again, this is on Classic Era, so I think at some point it's worth making a change and seeing what happens, and why not do that in the seasonal server right now while we're still very early on. Even during the Phase 2 announcement video, Agren says it's undeniable GDKP contributes to and drives a lot of malicious accounts, illicit activities, botting, and so on. And I have to agree, as convenient as they can be for getting loot, they have always had a very dark.
People say, oh, people are going to still buy and sell gold, and that is true. But the problem that GDKP brings and why banning GDKPs might help is that you have a ceiling of what you can spend gold on. Let's say you buy gold and you spend it on your enchantments and on your, I don't know, sharpening stones and all of that, and you upgrade your professions and you have your gear and you buy your mount, and then you have nothing more to spend gold on. You are done with what you can spend gold on, so you are not incentivized to buy more gold. Let's say you buy gold, you buy all of that, and now you don't need to buy more gold because you can't GDKP. But when there is GDKP, then you are incentivized to buy gold, to buy gear on the raid, and that gear is a bidding war. So the more you buy, the more you can get the gear you want, and this is infinitely scaling. You can keep spending gold on there, and you will say, well, you will guess you have to get full beast and then you are done. But people then go for an alt and they do it again, or they go for an off spec or whatever. The ceiling for gold spending with GDKPs is a lot higher than without GDKPs. That is true, brother. So even if there is gold buying, you mitigate the amount of gold buying, and the impact that has on the economy is a lot lesser, you know.
Underside to them. In the actual blue post that goes over all the patch notes, Blizzard also say there are concerns surrounding the erosion of traditional guild and social structures that are a part of the spirit of Season of Discovery. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons this change is being pushed now. People in the comments will already be saying GDKP existed back in the day and that they're fine, but GDKPs never replaced being part of an actual guild as a way to raid back in the day. They were higher end players selling stuff to alts or lower end players. Whereas now you can go on Warcraft logs on Wrath or on Classic Era and see that even a ton of really good guilds are just GDKP machines. This won't be the fate of the seasonal server, and Blizzard are trying something different. Will people find ways around it? They almost certainly will, but at the same time, this should cut out a lot of what GDKP does in the game. And
yeah, of course. If people want to GDKP now, they will have to do a lot of work. Never discuss that inside the game. Do all of that out in a Discord channel, for example. Have to, because if they track the trading and all of that, they have to come up with a new way of trading and giving the items and all of that. And it will be a pain in the ass if you have to do that. At that point, I will just not do it because it is not worth it, all of that extra work, you know.
So starting on February 8th, this loot distribution system will be banned in Season of Discovery. We are awaiting some follow-up confirmation of what will be done in regards to detecting GDKP, because I've always suspected that enforcement of this kind of thing would be tricky. I'd assume you'd need a way to stop trades happening as easily and making items...
Even if the enforcement is tricky, at the start, at least at the start, until people figure out how they are enforcing it, people are going to be, I don't know how to say this, like less likely to try it because they are afraid that they might face consequences, you know? So until they see other people doing it and not facing consequences, and they figure out, oh, they are not banning people or they are giving just a suspension or whatever, until they know what is actually going to happen, people will be less likely to try it because they are afraid of the consequences. After a while, and if they don't enforce it, then people will start to say, oh, they don't enforce this shit, and start to do it. But at least for a month, people will not do it just because they are afraid. So just announcing that they are going to try to remove GDKPs, it is enough to remove a big part of GDKPs.
Become soulbound a lot sooner, but we'll see what happens here. Moving on though, because we have a lot more to cover. The new raid is coming up. It's Gnomeregan. We already knew that. It has 6 bosses, and just as BFD was, Gnomeregan will also be a 10-player instance. However, there is...
I like that. I know that a lot of people don't like that. They wanted 20 people and 40 people. I'll be honest, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, and that classic players like the 40 people raid. I think that 40 people raids are stupid as fuck. That is my personal opinion. And if you enjoy the 40-man people, good for you. That is cool. I hate it. I think 40-man is stupid. I believe the ceiling should be 20. More than 20 is a clusterfuck. 20-man raids is cool. And 10 is awesome. I love 10-man raids. 10-man is awesome for me. You don't need to prepare for a lot of stuff like, oh, this person is not coming today, now we need to replace or whatever. It is only 10 people, brother. There is not much preparation in here, and the loot distribution is really cool. Also, we only have 10 people, and for 20 it is kinda the same, but for 40, motherfucker, you have to coordinate 40 people, and getting loot is you have to be lucky to get loot in a 40-man raid. It is stupid. I don't like it. It is also a clusterfuck on your fucking screen. 40 people throwing shit at a boss. Nah, brother. 10 and 20 is the way to go, in my opinion. I know that restricts a little bit. Some people like the 40-man raid because it doesn't restrict as much the people that you bring in terms of their specialization and their class. And in a 10-man raid, I don't want this dude because he's playing Elemental Shaman. I am playing Elemental Shaman right now. But that hasn't been a problem, brother. Fuck that. You have to be a pussy or be really bad to not get a spot, you know.
There is a temporary change to the lockout system. So for the first 2 resets, Noma will have your standard 1-week lockout instead of being 3 days.
That is a good decision, by the way. They found a middle ground between not releasing the raid the first week and releasing it right away with the 3-day lockout. Because there was a war between the casual players and the hardcore players. The casual players wanted the raid to be delayed, and the hardcore players wanted the raid to be available right from the start. And they said, you know what? We are going to release it right from the start, but with a 1-week lockout, so the other people only miss 1 lockout. So it was a genius move on their part. Everybody's happy. It was cool. This was a great decision.
This has been done as a bit of a compromise on Blizzard's end. So Agrem put out a tweet a little bit ago asking whether the release of the raid should be delayed so that players don't feel pushed to level super fast, so not to miss a reset. They do this on retail, and they did it at the start of Wrath of the Lich King too. But in the interest of not pressuring more casual players too much.
And by the way, I was on the side of delaying it, and not because I wanted time to level up myself or whatever. It is just that I believe it's the best for the game in general. Like, people level up, there is no pressure, and it is not even if I felt pressure, because I don't feel pressure. I don't give a fuck if I miss a lockout or 2. It is just that I generally think that is healthier than people can just focus on leveling, you know. But again, this was a good compromise. I believe it was a good decision. I am just saying what I wanted when he asked, hey, what do you want in Twitter? I was on the side of delay it.
Whilst allowing more hardcore players to push for world first kills, this is what we're getting. So, in short, the first 2 resets of Gnomeregan will happen with the weekly main.
By the way, guys, I have never done Gnomeregan in the dungeon form, because I always play as Horde and I never go there. I have never stepped on Gnomeregan. I have never put a foot down there, brother. So I know this will be different because the bosses are different or whatever. So this will be my first time in Gnomeregan ever, brother, which is insane.
Maintenance as per usual in your region, and then it will return to a 3-day lockout similar to BFD after that. Bosses will also see some changes too, with notable updates to Mechaneer Thermoplug having access to new mechs, maybe new phases there, as well as the Crowd Pummeler being moved to a raised platform. A platform which I'm all too sure we're going to see people getting thrown off to their doom. Looking forward to seeing some clips on that one. You don't get a new raid without new loot, and Blizzard have mentioned that over 100 new items will drop from Gnomeregan. They really like their big loot tables in Season of Discovery.
Brother, they are increasing the power level in Classic insanely, brother, because we saw that at level 25 we were getting items that were on par with level 40 items, but now we are getting items that are like level 60 items and we are only level 40. So when we get to Molten Core and Blackwing Lair, they are going to rework those items 100% because our power level will be on par with that, you know. So they will have to rework all of that to make up for that gap in power. Do I think this is a good thing or a bad thing? I believe it is whatever. It is okay. I like feeling powerful, so who cares? Let me feel powerful. I believe that like 90% of the decisions that this SOD team is doing are great decisions, maybe even more than 90%. They are throwing stuff and see what sticks. They are doing cool stuff, new stuff. I believe all of this is awesome, and the loot thing about new items, I believe is really cool, brother, because you don't want the same items. By the way, they are also reworking items from dungeons. For example, they are reworking items from a Scarlet Monastery and stuff like that, so you don't face the problem in phase 1 like the only dungeon that you found was SFK, and it was like the previous, it was in SFK and then you go into Black Fathom Deeps, but the gear in SFK wasn't that good. Well, they are removing that problem, giving you good gear from the dungeons, because they are reworking that gear from those dungeons, which is awesome. I don't know if WillE is going to mention that in this video, but I hope he does so.
Discovery, don't they? They teased a number of items we can have a look at here. The interesting ones for me are the gloves in the top left. Blizzard said early on in Season of Discovery that more or less just pick the race you want, don't worry about weapon skill too much, and as expected, new gear supporting weapon skill is starting to enter the game, so that's a good sign. And of course at the top right, the automatic Crowd Pummeler, and it looks as though the data mine was correct. Warriors cannot use it. I can smell the Titan's Grip rune coming in phase 2 now. I mean, that's not a confirmed rune, but it does point towards it.
I will be honest, I hate Titanic Grip. I think it is stupid. Titanic Grip is one of the stupidest things they have ever entered into WoW. Brother, if you are going to dual wield as a warrior, those need to be one-handed weapons, because why the fuck would you want to play arms and play with one two-handed weapon if you could play two-handed weapons? That is inferior. So what is the bullshit in playing a two-handed weapon? Then you have to introduce a new type of big weapon that only arms can play, because now you remove the cool thing that arms has. So now you are an idiot if you play arms with one two-handed weapon, because you could be playing with two-handed weapons. So Titanic Grip is stupid and I hate it. Plus, in retail, you can transmog two-handed weapons to one-handed weapons and vice versa, which fucks up all the transmogs, because you have to be playing two-handed, brother.
a bit, doesn't it? They also said Gnomeregan will have over 3 times the number of epics that BFD did, so that's going to mean 10 or more. Can't wait to see what those end up being. New mini tier sets will of course be included in the season, as well as tier...
Brother, this is also a banger decision, introducing sets. Ooh, brother, this is really cool.
Tokens. We've all seen it where you have one warrior in the raid and...
Now I was going to say the thing I don't like it is that it is not specific and it is just something generic. For example, check this. Chance on a spell cast to increase your damage and healing by up to 40 for 10 seconds. This doesn't really affect how you play. It is just a damage increase. But this is also generic for melee casting and I don't know, tank or healing, you know. So it is generic. Maybe when we get to Molten Core and we get to Black Wind Lair, where there are actual sets specific for each class, they do something cool in there, you know, and then they affect your rotation or something like that.
And you keep getting the useless male tier. Well, now there will be tokens dropping instead, so you can go and turn them in for an equivalent piece of armor. So just great change there. There are also some for fun items too, such as a Trog Morph Trinket, a pair of shades, and an item that teleports you somewhere. Kind of like the wormhole generators from TBC or Wrath. I kind of hope there's a profession item or something to discover linked to one of these new locations, though hopefully it's not mandatory if you need the trinket to discover it. We also found out that both the PvP world buff from Ashen Vale and the BFD world buff will no longer be obtainable above level 39. The new PvP event in STV will not have a new world buff, but no...
I hope you are not forced to do the PvP event in terms of the world buff. To get the gear, of course, if you want the gear and one of those pieces is your beast, well, brother, you have to PvP in the new PvP event. But what I don't like in the BFD, in the Ashen Vale one, is that if you wanted the drums to be able to take that buff to the raid, you had to do the PvP event, and I hate that. Don't give me a buff weekly that I have to do the PvP event to take it to the raid. I don't like that bullshit.
Gnomeregan will. Also, the battle for Ashen Vale will be moving to a static 3-hour start timer in Phase 2, so that if you want to head over there to get the weekly done or full rep in general, you'll know when it will be starting. We didn't see what the Gnomeregan buff was yet, but I bet it's going to drop in Ironforge or Orgrimmar this phase. Complete side note to this, but I'm very much looking forwards to Ironforge being the Alliance hub. It will be like back in the very, very old days when if you need the trinket to discover...
brother, I was going to pause and I moved the chat. Talking about the main hub, I love that for Horde we have the Thunderbluff being the main hub. It is fucking awesome. I love it. Thunderbluff being the main hub is fucking cool, dude.
Phase. Complete side note to this, but I'm very much looking forwards to Ironforge being the Alliance hub. It will be like back in the very, very old days when the only Alliance auction house was there. Alongside the raid will be a profession quest chain to get hold of extremely powerful new pieces of armor. Blizzard have built on the new profession items in a big way in Phase 2, including
This is also important. I was an idiot starting the first phase and I got whatever profession I wanted, and later I discovered that you need a specific profession to get your beast item, and I fucked up all of that. I won't make that mistake twice, and now I will get my specific professions to get the items you need. I don't know if that is a good decision on their part, because why can't they work up a system when you pick whatever profession you want, and if you need a specific item that is bind on peacock for another profession, you do a deal with a person that has that profession and you are able to create that item and get it in. But I know that that is not the purpose, that they want you to take that profession to take that item. I don't really know what I think about that system, but well, it is the way it is. So just remember that you have to be smart about the professions you pick, because that will determine how powerful you will be with the access to your beast items.
Approximately 20 new recipes to discover. Also, it's not just your leatherworkers, tailors, blacksmiths, and so on who are getting cool new items either. Professions which typically don't have personal throughput benefits in vanilla will now start to do so. They teased a new enchanting stone which you can use to buff yourself, and a potion that gives a temporary buff. Also, as expected.
But the thing is that I don't know, but will that potion be bind on peacock? What I mean is, will you have to be an alchemist to drink that potion? Because if you can put that potion in the action house, then you don't need to be an alchemist, and everybody is going to buy that bullshit. And you will make bank if you are an alchemist because everybody is going to buy it. But if you have to be an alchemist to drink it, then that is like the binding pickup for an item in another profession, you know.
The profession cap will be raised to expert and will cap out at 225 as seen on the tooltip from the new items here. Unfortunately though, for anybody who was planning on picking up a profession specialization next phase, Blizzard have confirmed that they will not be in the game, and that instead profession specs will be a big focus to make cool in phase 3. The reasoning was that a lot of these new profession spec items just aren't very good when we're level 40, and it was kind of just engineering that was worth looking forwards to. I know I'd been preparing for profession specs to be in the game, and I even made a video talking all about them and what should have been possible, but sometimes you speculate and you get it right, sometimes you don't. It is what it is. Phase 2 will also have new spell tomes that will drop from 5-player.
This is also a banger, brother. Are you seeing all the banger things they are doing? Cool stuff. This skill book thing is awesome. For example, they are introducing one for the rogue where you can switch targets and not lose your combo points as it is in retail. That is fucking awesome, brother.
Dungeons. These will be a bunch of quality of life changes that many people would have been asking for their class from a very early stage in this season. The ones shown here are for increased blessing durations, hopefully up to at least.
It also gives you an incentive to go and farm something, to do a dungeon, because if one of these skill books drops from a mob or a boss in a dungeon, that gives you an incentive to go to that place. It is cool, it is cool.
15 minutes if not 30. Totemic projection is not the same as Totemic Recall. It was an ability introduced in Mists of Pandaria that allows you to move your totems to a new location, and in many cases is just better than having to destroy your totems and then having to resummon them each individually. And Redirection, a Cataclysm ability which typically has a 1-minute cooldown and allows you to move your combo points from one target to another. Bit of a side note on this, if we can tab to redirect our combo points, does this mean combo points aren't lost on tab anymore, or is this an entirely new version of Redirection? We'll have to wait and see, but this could be a double buff for rogues here. Other tomes to expect maybe increases to short duration effects such as Battle Shout, Shaman Weapon Imbues, Omen of Clarity, Thorns, all those kind of things.
They are like life of quality updates that they are introducing through an skill book. Instead of just giving it to you, they are giving you an incentive to do something out of on the world without giving you power directly. They are just quality of life updates. I believe it's a cool way of doing it, brother, because we want those quality of life updates, but if they just give it to you, then they don't have an incentive to do something in the game. So they are doing it in a cool way. Oh, we are giving it to you, but you have to earn it doing something. It is a cool way of doing it.
Decent mana cost reductions for things such as Fortitude, Intellect, and all those kind of things. Again, we'll have to see what books are out when the patch is available, but it's definitely another win that Blizzard have recognized this and sought to do something about it. Next, if you are like me, you've probably done a whole bunch of questing post level cap to make gold. You might even be sitting on a full quest log, wondering whether to hand in now for the gold or to wait.
Because I'm leveling a new character. I played Elemental Shaman first phase, and I will probably continue that character in the second phase, but as an alt. I will main a melee hunter, brother. Brother, there is a dual wield room for melee hunter in this new phase. I am going to play that bullshit. That will be my main.
For phase 2 to get the X.
So no, I don't have this, and even if I did, it will only benefit my shaman because I am leveling my hunter right now. I don't think I will have time to do all of this.
Extra XP. Well, hopefully this will help with your decision here. First up, there will be a 50% XP buff between levels 1 and 25. So if you're sitting on any alts come phase 2, you can get them up to speed a bit faster.
Nice.
Next is the BFD raid will give a large amount of XP when completed. BFD will still have a 3-day lockout, but should be something you'll want to get done at least early on in the phase. Waylaid supplies will of course keep dropping, and we'll see an adjustment to where they give much more experience. The way that this was worded in the video suggested that this would apply to the new waylaid supplies, and that they were going to be removing some of the frustrations associated with them.
Please.
So basically...
By the way, there are people hoarding these boxes. Like, you can have one of each. There are people with a bunch of these boxes because as soon as they raise the level cap, they are going to turn them in and you are going to get a bunch of XP. Brother, people are doing crazy things to level up quickly. They are doing that quest thing. They have 25 or 20 quests prepared to turn, to give them as soon as they raise the level cap. They also have one of each of these boxes ready, and they also have marks of honor from Warzone Gulch that when you turn them in, you also get experience. They have all of that stacked up, brother, and as soon as the level cap increases, they are going to turn all of that in, and they are getting 2 or 3 free levels right there on the spot. I haven't done all of that, brother. I am too lazy to do that, but I believe it is cool that people do that. It is kind of insane how they min-max the game.
You don't expect stockpiled Phase 1 waylaid supplies to be good for leveling, and they're probably moving away in some form from them being unique, so that you can go out and farm multiple, and then go to turn them in for a big XP bonus. Again, they say they have more news to follow on this soon. Next, we have the PvP changes, and oh boy, Stranglethorn Vale is about to be an absolute fiesta.
The changes that they have done to PvP, to the PvP event, it is also cool. I didn't like that you have to go to a group or to a raid to do the PvP event. Now you do that. They are changing to, you just go by yourself. That is awesome.
Every 3 hours, a blood moon will descend on STV, causing the entire zone to become a free-for-all PvP zone for the next 30 minutes. During this event, killing players will give you a new currency that can be turned in for a variety of rewards. You can still group up as 5 players for this event, but converting to a raid group will be seriously punished by some new, unknown in-game mechanic. Unlike Ashen Vale, there are no PvE.
Well, then you still have to do fight manning. Well, fight manning is okay. It is okay.
Objectives in this event. So if you want the new rewards, you've got to be doing PvP. They also showed 2 of the new items which can be traded in via the new currency. Both of these were class specific, and it appears as though this will be the case for all rewards. You will also earn a Arathi Basin rep in STV via completing certain quests. I'm expecting this to be a
Brother, this phase has a lot of more stuff than the first phase. So I hope it is at least as long as this one or longer. Don't be shorter, please. I want to get my dude full beast, brother. And that you can kind of discover things, you know. Because normal classic phases felt too long because you already know everything. You already know what items you are going to farm, what you are going to do, and you do it quickly. But now you don't know. You have to do the stuff to find out what is best. For example, for the melee hunter that I am planning to do, the new dual specialization says that you get extra damage on your raptor strike if you use 2 weapons of the same category. That means 2 axes, 2 swords. So what 2 axes am I going to use? I don't know, because now the itemization is new. I don't know if 1 axe will be from the Blood Moon event and 1 axe will be from Gnomeregan. I have to try all of that and see what gives me the most damage. So figuring out all of that, you need time, because we don't have the 20 years of experience we have for normal classic, you know, which is cool. I am not advocating here from a year-long phase. I am just saying that at least as long as the first phase, you know, because again, we have a lot of stuff to discover because this is all new, and if you want to min-max it, you don't know what is the thing because everything is new, which is cool, of course. That is the fun of this, discovering the new thing, but you also want to min-max your character.
Pretty generous amount of rep, similar to how it was getting your Warsong rep in Ashen Vale. Participating in the STV PvP event can also reward 2 new unique mounts, both of which can be obtained by either faction.
I believe that is a way of giving you the other thing if you are in the other faction. For example, if you are Alliance, now you can get a Raptor, which normally is Horde only. And if you are Horde, you can get the Tiger, which is normally Alliance only. This is cool.
both of which can be obtained by either
I will of course get that tiger for my hunter, brother.
faction. You can opt out of this event too, which is going to be a good thing if you are leveling a bit later on in this phase, because there are going to be a lot of roaming 5-man gank squads, though general PvP server rules will still apply. Also for PvPers, there are updates coming to the matchmaking system
Another
for
banger
Battlegrounds and
decision, the
Season of
pre-made
Discovery.
stuff.
Blizzard have said for players in groups of 5 or fewer, you will have a higher chance to match.
By the way, do we get Arathi Basin in this bracket? I believe so. I love Arathi Basin. That is my favorite battleground from Classic. Arathi Basin is the perfect spot. I hate Warzone Gulch because you can get on a stalemate because the dude is hiding with the flag and you can get to him, and it is bullshit. And Alterac Valley is too fucking long, it is stupid, but Arathi Basin is the perfect spot. There is no stalemate, the match is always progressing, it is not too long, it is fucking awesome. I love Arathi Basin.
Against groups of 5 or fewer. Likewise, if you're in a group of 6 or more, you'll have a higher chance to match with groups with 6 or more. This will help aid in matching more pre-mades with pre-mades and non-pre-mades with non-pre-mades where possible. To account for the potential to create longer queues with this updated matchmaking system, the system will ignore these rules after a period of time should we start seeing these queues being impacted. This will then match you with the first available game, so you can get in and play without having to wait too much longer. So whilst pre-mates are staying if you're queuing solo or as part of a smaller group, that chance to come up against a full 10 stack should become much less frequent. And that is the news. It's hard to say just how many wins are in these patch notes. Season of Discovery so far has been incredible.
A lot of wins, brother. They are taking W's left and right, brother. This is fucking awesome. The SOD team is killing it, brother. These guys are earning a promotion or an increase in salary, you know, a new wage, because these dudes are killing it, brother.
And with this huge info drop, I am now super hyped to get into phase 2 on February 8. Of course, there'll be a video soon where I go over all the runes we were shown today and check them all out. Let me know your thoughts on everything I've gone over here today down below in the comments, and if you made it...
The thoughts is that they are killing it and they are earning a lot of W's, brother. A lot of banger cool decisions. Hey, WillE, brother. Awesome video as always, dude. Great. This dude creates awesome videos where he summarizes everything in a great way. Much better videos than a lot of people, brother. Much better than mine. If I want to do something like news related, I talk too much, I go from tangents and I ramble on. This dude goes right to the point. Everything is awesome in here. Thank you for the video, my dude. And yes, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this, or for the new season. Are you excited? What do you think about the direction they are taking, all the new things they are bringing? Do you like them? You don't like them? Why? Let me know in the comments below, brother. I love reading comments, dude. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are fucking awesome. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Help me out, brother. Guys, you are awesome. Thanks for being here. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.